linear equation. Why it is a linear equation? Because in this equation both the variables have the power or degree as 1. Okay, so order is a term associated with differential equation, not with a simple equation like this. Okay, yes. So what is linear equation? Linear equation is an equation where variables have power or degree as 1. This is known as a linear equation. Like this, x plus y equal to 1 is a linear equation. X plus y plus z, again a linear equation. Okay, this is also a linear equation, and so on. The only thing is that you can have as many variables as possible, but all of those variables must have the degree as 1. Okay, that we have got it. So in this chapter, the word linear suggests that you will be dealing with linear equations. Linear equations means those equations which have variables in the power as 1. Okay, so now what is this line representing? First, x plus y equal to 1. What is this representing? What is this equation representing to you? Can anybody tell me? What is this first equation, second equation and third equation represent? It represents a straight line. So this is the equation, linear equation in two variables which represents a straight line. You can draw a straight line very easily. You can easily draw it also in a graph. Okay. Now what about this one? What does the second equation represents? Is it again a straight line or something else? What is it? It is representing a plane. What is a plane? Plane like this. This is a paper. This is a plane. Plane means straight surface. Okay, no curve is there. This is a plane. So, what is this representing? Three variables in a linear equation are representing a plane. Now, what does this represent? What does the third equation represents? Can you draw it on a graph? If you draw these two on a graph, this will result in a straight line. This will result in a plane. What will the third one result? Will it result in a volume? How to draw? Like if I draw x plus y, then you will draw two x's, x and y, x plus y equal to 1. Okay. So how will you draw it? You will substitute as x as 0, then you will get y is 1. So you will say that this line will pass through 0, 1, and when you will substitute y as 0, you will get x as 1. So you will say that this line will pass through 1, 0, and now you will draw such line. So basically what you do, you will just find out those, or you will just substitute values of x, y or z respectively and then plot this. So if you plot this, you will get a straight line. If you plot this, you will need a third axis, z axis, to plot this, and it will come out to be a plane like this, projecting out of the board. But now if you want to draw this on a graph, can you draw it? Can you draw the third equation on a graph? Yes or no? Can you draw it or not? There were two quantities, you draw two axes, you drew it. For the three variables, you drew a third axis and you draw it. But what about this one? Now we have a fourth variable. You don't have a graph in 4 dimensions. Okay, you can't draw the graph in 4 dimensions. So this cannot be drawn on a graph. So physically, what does it represent? Physically, what does it represent? Somewhat correct. It is representing 3 space plus time. So a quantity which is varying with respect to space. A quantity which is varying with respect to space and time is, let's say, wave. Any quantity. Wave, you know na? Wave, it is varying, let's say like this. So it is varying with respect to space. Space means x, y, z. And a fourth variable, let's say time. So it can represent a wave, it can represent some other quantity depending upon what is your t variable denoting. Here I chose the t variable as time, so it was a wave. If it is something else, then it will represent something else. But whatever it may be, you cannot draw that thing in your 3D Cartesian coordinate because we have only 3 orthogonal vectors or orthogonal axes, that is x, y and z. Understood or not? Clear? So linear equations do have a meaning. Okay, do have a meaning. If there are 2 variables, straight line, 3 variables, plane, 4 variables, it may be anything depending upon how your variable is defined. 5 variables, it can be anything again depending upon how your variables are defined. If the variables are like number of chocolates, number of pens, then it can represent some other quantity. If it is something else, then it will represent some other quantity. I think you got my point, what I am trying to say. So linear equations have some physical meaning. Now, coming to this line that I first drew, let's remove this x's and let's talk about this line, x plus y equal to 1. X plus y equal to 1. Now, you must be knowing one thing, that you can write the equation of a line in this Cartesian form, in this vector form also. You know this thing or not? You can write the equation of any line in the form of Cartesian coordinate like this, or maybe in the form of vector like somewhat like this. I don't know exactly how to convert, but let's say this is the equation of this line. You know this or not? Any line, any equation of line can be represented in 2 ways. One is the Cartesian form, other one is the vector form. So basically from here we can arrive at a result or arrive at a conclusion that lines and these vectors have something in common. They are somewhat related by each other. Lines and vectors are somewhat related by each other. From this conclusion we have arrived. Why? Because I can write the equation of this straight line in Cartesian form also, in vector form also. Okay. Now, where do our matrices and determinant come into play? I have told you that this chapter is nothing but matrices and determinant, but how they are coming into play is that because you have this equation x plus y equal to 1. If I write this equation as then this is the matrix format of your given equation. Everybody agrees or not? Can I write this equation, our initial equation, into this matrix format? We will discuss those matrix terms later on, but for now you must be knowing that these two are equivalent. Yes or no? Agree or not? So yes, you must agree that these two are equivalent to each other. Now again come to this vector which I have written down. Can I write this vector like this? Are you following this? Can I write it like this? Again, both of these are equivalent or not? If you multiply again, xi plus yj gives you a vector. It is the same thing. So again, why are we using matrices and determinants in linear algebra? Because linear algebra means linear equations. Linear equations are lines or planes which can again be written in terms of vectors. And vectors and line both can be written in terms of matrices. So the one thing that can represent both the quantities is your matrices. So that is why in linear algebra we will deal with the matrices and determinants, because both the vector format and both the Cartesian format can be written down in terms of matrices. So I think you understood the point why we are studying linear algebra with the help of matrices and determinants. Okay. So this is the point. Any doubt up to here? Any doubt up to here you can ask right now. Any doubt? Okay, so nobody is having a doubt. Okay, can I write this vector again as like this? I am talking about the same vector. Is it okay with you? I I have written down in a second format. Is it okay with you? Can I write like this? This A vector, same A vector, can I write like this or not? Yes, it is the one and the same thing. You can again open this, you can again multiply and finally get the same equation. So I can write this vector in this format or this vector in this format as the same thing. It is representing you the same vector, it is representing the same thing. So in whatever way you write, it is physically giving you the same quantity. There is no issue in that. Now from here we got this as that if I write, let's say, some x vector which is I plus j, I can write this as this or in this way. It will mean the same thing. From here we have noted down this thing. So from after this point, I'll not be again and again writing this ij, because it is already understood that this is a vector whose I will be 1, j will be, I component will be 1, j component will be 1. I component will be 1, j component will be 1. So instead of writing this much, that x vector is I plus j, I'll just write x vector is or this. Understood or not? This is the representation in which all the equations will be written. From now on you will be familiar that this is a vector, again this is a vector which is I plus j. Okay. So please focus right now, because in future I'll be discussing these things and we will go into deep over these topics. So you must be able to get what I'm trying to say. Let's say you have some point P, 1, 1 and O. What will be OP vector? OP vector will be, I think you are able to understand what I am trying to say. OP vector will be, because there is one unit in x direction, one unit in y direction, you will write OP vector as I plus j. This OP vector will be I plus j. Now this vector was also I plus j. So can I say that this quantity also represents, point P? Yes or no? This matrix that I have written, X matrix, that represents point P. Basically, from now, what I am trying to say is that from now on, if I write this one, then you should be able to see that this is nothing but a vector pointing from the origin to the point 1, 1. This is the thing that you should get from here. So this is a vector pointing from the point, vector pointing from 0 origin to the point 1, 1. If I say there is some A vector which is 1, 2, then you should be able to visualize that it is a vector which is pointing like this. This is 2. So this will be a vector like somewhat like this. This will be a vector. Okay? Understood or not? So these matrices are a vector pointing towards the point 1, 1. This matrix is a vector which is pointing towards 1, 2. Now what about a 2 cross 2 matrix? We have seen for a row matrix or column matrix it is a vector, but what about a 2 cross 2 matrix like this? Or I'll write B only. So let's say this is a 2 cross 2 matrix. What will it represent? One column or one more row was representing a point or a vector, but now you have 2 columns and 2 rows. What will it represent to you? Will it represent line? Line is the same thing as vector. That's what I was telling till now. That line and vector are interrelated. So why are you telling line? Line and vectors are the same thing. If you can represent a vector like this, then we can represent the same line like this. So there is no issue in that. So what this will represent? Any guesses? A very good point, that it will represent two lines. I have written this is one line or this is one vector. This is one line or this is one vector. So there are two columns now. So what will you say? This is vector 1, this is vector 2, and B matrix is a combination of two vectors. Understood or not? What is a matrix? Matrix is just a quantity where you will write all your numbers together. Like in a class, we sit in rows and columns. So that is also matrix like of arrangement. What is matrix? It's just an arrangement of people, quantity, numbers, functions, etc. It is not having any physical meaning to itself. But now if I write like this, what will you say? Okay, there are two columns, means there are two vectors represented by this matrix. Okay, square block of 4 numbers. So now if I draw these two vectors, so vector v1 is pointing towards 1, 1. This is vector v1. Okay, and vector v2 is 0, 1. This is vector v2, or I'll draw in blue color. Understood? I have told you that this is a vector pointing towards 1, 1. So this is v1 is a vector pointing towards point 1, 1, and v2 is a vector pointing towards the point 0, 1. That means these are the two vectors. Now from combining these two vectors, what physical quantity will you get? So obviously from combining these two vectors, you will get a parallelogram. How will you get a parallelogram? Because you know that if I displace this vector parallelly, it will represent the same vector. So if I displace this vector parallelly like this, then again it will be v1, and if I displace this v2 vector parallelly like this, then it will be the same vector again. So combination or combinedly writing these two vectors is giving you a parallelogram. So from here, what we have understood, that if your matrix is a row or column matrix, it is representing a point or a vector. Both of these are the same things, but physical interpretation is something different. From here we are saying that B is representing combination of two vectors, and by combining those two vectors, the thing that physically we are getting is this parallelogram. Understood or not this analogy? Everybody is understanding or not? If any doubt is there, please tell me. So 1, 0 and 1, 1 as the 2 points. Again it will represent the parallelogram, but this time the vectors will be different. So that is up to your, like, from where this matrix have gotten. I have considered that these two are the vector representation. You can say that these can also be your vector a1 and a2, and again you will be able to draw the parallelogram. The thing I needed to tell you here is that the combination of two vectors will give you parallelogram. If you consider row wise also, it will be a parallelogram, but a different one, which depends upon how have you written your this quantity in terms of matrices. Okay, that will be mentioned in your question or in your application always. Okay, so I think we should move forward. So now the question that I throw to you, that if I have C matrix, which is a 3 cross 3 matrix, what will it represent physically? Like for B matrix, which is a 2 cross 2 matrix, we have said that it will represent a parallelogram physically. What can you think this will represent? Plane, if you want to represent plane in terms of matrix, we have seen that equation of plane. I am writing down here, equation of plane was, let's say something like this. If you want to represent in terms of matrix, you will just directly write like this. Claps for you. This will represent a parallelepiped. Because now you will say that this is a combination of three vectors, v2, v1, v3. Let's say these two vectors were like this. If I add up a 3 vector in the third dimension, then obviously you will get some third 3D quantity which will be known as your parallelepiped. Udit, very good. This will give you a parallelepiped. So physically this will present you. So I think you have understood the point now, how we are saying that this is a parallelogram, this is a parallelepiped. Now, if there is a 4 cross 4 matrix, 4 cross 4 matrix, combination of 4 matrix, 4 vectors, okay, but can you draw that 4 vectors? 4 cross 4 means you will have a fourth dimension now. Can you draw that vector into your graph like this? So obviously no. 4 cross 4 means there will be 4 dimension, let's say t dimension. You can't draw it on your graph. That will not represent anything on your graph. So that will have a meaning which will be like you can draw that meaning using your application, but you will not be able to say that it will be a volume or parallelepiped or area or something like that. Tesseract. Chandresh, I don't know exactly about tesseract. I can't say anything about it, but yes, again the same thing. If t is your time, then the equation will be for a wave, and for a wave the 4 cross 4 matrix can represent anything, but I can't draw that on a graph. That is my point. I can't draw that on this board or 3D Cartesian coordinate. Okay. So this was what is a matrix physically, how vectors are related with matrices, how linear equations are related with matrices. Now coming to the next term in your chapter name. Next term is algebra. What do you mean by algebra? What do you mean by this term algebra? Study of mathematical symbols and the rules manipulating these symbols. Okay, so basically algebra, that what we have studied in our class 6th, that we used to see plus x minus x gives you something like if you multiply plus with a plus, you will get a plus. If you multiply minus with a minus, you will get a minus. All those things that we did in class 6th or 7th maybe, that was your algebra. Basically some symbolic representation, how to multiply those things, how to divide those things, how to add those things, that was your algebra. So algebra is nothing but your algebraic operations, that is plus, minus, division, subtraction, all those things that you do with your numbers or symbols or variables, etc. But here we will apply this algebraic operation to linear equations or vectors. That is the thing in this chapter, that how to add two vectors, how to add two matrices, how to add two lines, how to solve two equations, how to solve two vectors, how to solve two matrices. That will be the case for this chapter. Okay, so that is the introduction to this chapter. I think it is enough for this introduction. Let's move forward to the chapter now. So you can see on your secondary screen, I have written down that what are some broad topics that we will be covering here. So broad topics that will be covered here will be matrix algebra. So first of all, we will look for matrix algebra, means same thing, how to add matrices, how to multiply matrices, how to equate two matrices and so on. That is the first part of this chapter. Second part is talking about vectors, that I have told you that matrices are nothing but vectors. So there will be some part denoted to vectors, which is linearly dependent and independent vectors. Important topic from exam point of view. Third topic, very important topic again, because if you don't know how to find out the rank, then you can't find the eigenvalues, you can't find the solution of the system equation, and so on. So third topic is also important, rank of a matrix. Fourth one, solving a system of equation. That's what I told you right now only, that how we will solve a system of equations and what will the solution represent, that we will talk about. And next, again the fifth topic again talks about vectors, but these vectors are some special vectors which are known as eigenvectors and their corresponding eigenvalues. Okay, you must have studied all of these things before, but now we will look them into with a new angle. You must have not seen them with that angle, but that is important for GATE point of view, that we will see from here. So coming to the first thing, write down matrix. What is a matrix? So actually I have told the definition already. So let's look at the definition. Write down the definition. What is a matrix? So matrix is any rectangular arrangement. You can see the secondary screen, I guess. See from the secondary screen, it is any rectangular arrangement or array of numbers or functions. So it is just an arrangement of numbers or functions. Like if I write a general matrix, rectangular means the arrangement will be in terms of rows and columns. Like your egg tray, in your egg tray you will have some rows and some columns in which your eggs are arranged, your classroom and so on. Okay, so let's say this is some general matrix. So this matrix consists of some elements like this, and for the row 1, how many elements are there in the row 1? Reply to me, how many elements are there in row 1? First row, how many elements are there? Obviously there are n elements, A11, A12 up to 1n. Similarly for second row you have n elements, and similarly for the last row you have n elements. Okay, understood. How many columns are there? So in a particular column there are total n elements, total m elements, and the number of columns there are is m. Okay, so to signify that thing we have a term which is known as order. What do you mean by order of a matrix? It is just denoting your size of your matrix. Order is also sometimes known as size of your matrix. So size or order of the matrix is what? Can you tell me? It is the yes, m cross n. It is the number of rows cross number of columns. Never interpret this cross as multiplication. You are not multiplying m with n. You are just writing this as m cross n. So Riya, you are wrong. It is not mn, it is m cross n. mn means you are multiplying m with n. Okay, m cross n is different than mn. Okay, so this is the order of this matrix, that is m rows, n columns. M rows and n columns. Understood or not? Yes. Now we have one more thing, that this is a matrix, okay, but so one more thing, if I want to just say, let's say I am writing an example, let's say there is a matrix of order 2 cross 3. Matrix of order 2 cross 3 means 2 rows and 3 columns. Let's say these are the elements of this matrix. Let's say these are the elements. Can I have minus pi as the element? Minus pi. Do you have any problem that minus pi can't be your element? So yes, minus pi can be your element. Matrix can have any number, any function. There is no doubt on it. So minus pi is a eligible number to come in a matrix. Do you have a problem with this I? What this I represents? I is nothing but. So do you have any problem with I being there? So obviously you should not have any problem with I being there, because matrices can have again anything. It can be a complex number. It can be a real number. It can be a rational number. It can be a decimal number. Anything it can be. Okay. So no problem in that. So let's move forward. Now if I want to call that minus pi means if I want to name this minus pi. Matrices are basically used in computers a lot. Like if you are seeing your computer screen also, you can see that the computer screen is made up of pixels. Pixels means every pixel is having some color value. Color value means RGB value. So that RGB value or whatever that data is, that is represented in the form of matrices only. Okay, so in computers we have a lot of use of these matrices. That's what I said, that this chapter is important for CS guys. But for other branches also. We are also operating on some softwares. We are also operating on MATLAB, SolidWorks, or EC people must have also done some AutoCAD, anything like that. You must have used some softwares, or you will use in your future if you are working with some company, or you are doing some PhD or MTech and so on. So you will be using a lot of softwares, and in softwares, what is the main thing? The main thing is their program. What is the program? So in programming, you know that we always need to give some names to some quantity. So in a program, if I want to call that minus pi, so there should be some name to this minus pi. So that name is represented by Aij, which is known as the elemental representation of this matrix. If I want to name, or if I want to call any particular element in the matrix, then I'll use this representation. Means if I want to call this minus pi, then what should be the name of this minus pi? Then because again, I am not told that what is I here. So I means the number of row in which element is present, and j denotes the number of column in which so elemental representation is Aij, and where I denotes the number of row in which the element is present and j denotes the number of column in which the element is present. So two of the guys have answered as A, 2, 2. So let's see minus pi. What is the position of minus pi? So if I go into that matrix, if I find out the number of row in which it is present is, then this is second row R2, and column again is second column, so C2. That means I'll write it as A, 2, 2. So minus pi, if I want to name that element, then it will be okay. Now give me the name of this iota. 2, 1. Yes, everybody is right. It is present in row 2. It is present in row 2 and column 1. So A, 2, 1. Not a very hard thing to understand. I think you must have got it. Okay. This is the order and elemental representation. Please write it down if you have not written it down. Write it down, all of these things. So we have discussed order. So based on order, now we will define some special matrices. We will define some matrices. Okay. So let's see some classification of some matrices. So I guess all of you are done. So write down the heading. Some special matrices. Some special matrices. And according to the order, we will define those matrices. I am representing M with the number of columns. Okay, let's write down. If M is rows, and N is number of columns. And first one is the case where M is not equal to N. When the number of rows and the number of columns are different. Can you see me what is that matrix known as? When M is not equal to N, what is this matrix known as? These are all basics. So we'll be a little fast in covering those rectangular matrix. Yes, very good. So your basics are clear already. So rectangular matrix is a matrix for which M is not equal to N. Okay, definition done. I think we don't need to write down in the words. We have already written down M is not equal to N. That is sufficient. Now for rectangular matrix, we have actually two types. Two subtypes. One is known as row matrix and the other one is known as column matrix. What will be the order for this kind of a matrix? General order. Please define the general order for type A. M cross 1, M cross 1, M cross 1. Very good. General order. We don't know. First of all, I'll tell you what is this matrix. Row matrix is a matrix in which there is only one row. There is only one row. One row means m will be always 1. And what will be n? It can be any number. Okay, so who all are saying m cross 1? Actually, they are not correct. Row matrix means a matrix having one row. Number 1 is defined for m, so 1 cross n is for row matrix. Yes? For example, this is a row matrix of order 1 cross 3. 3 columns, 1 row. Similarly, for column matrix is a matrix having only one column. Only one column means its order will be sum m cross 1. So, if I say example, B matrix, it is a column matrix because it is having only one column and having an order of 4 cross 1. Okay, don't get confused. Row matrix, there should be only one row. Column matrix, it should be only one column. Now come to the next type. And for this case, we will have next case, second type, we will have m is equal to n. Can you tell me what kind of a matrix it is? What it is known as? It is known as square matrix. Yes, it is known as square matrix. M will be equal to n, number of rows equal to number of columns. For example, let's take an example. Let's say A matrix is there. Now A is a square matrix of order 3 cross 3 because both the rows, number of rows and both the number of columns are same. You can, instead of writing 3 cross 3, you can just write it is a matrix, square matrix of order 3. Okay, for a rectangular matrix, the representation is like this: 4 cross 1, 1 cross 3. But for a square matrix, because both of the quantities are same, so instead of writing again and again, we will just say that A is a square matrix of order 3. Okay, so don't get confused. Order 3 means already it is a square matrix. You already know both of these are same, so square matrix. Okay, now for square matrix, we have two most important terms. One term is known as first term is principal diagonal elements. Okay, first term, let's discuss about what is this term. So before going on into principal diagonal elements, let's discuss about the diagonals of square matrix. Diagonals of square matrix. So any square shape, if I draw this is a square, you know square will have two diagonals. Okay, similarly this is a square matrix, it will have two diagonals. First one is this one, and second one, let me draw in some other color. Second one is this one. Can you tell me which one of the two will be known as principal diagonal for the matrix? Which one of the two will be known as the principal diagonal? See, both are the diagonals, blue one, red one, both are the two diagonals of the square matrix, but only one is known as principal diagonal, and that one is this blue one. Blue one is known as principal diagonal matrix, and the reason why it is known as principal diagonal, because principal diagonal is defined like this, that it is a diagonal on which your first element of the matrix lies, and as well as the last element of the matrix should lie. A diagonal on which your first and the last element of the matrix should lie, that diagonal is known as your principal diagonal. You can see that for the red one, first element doesn't lie, last element doesn't lie. That means that diagonal is not principal diagonal. Understood or not? Write down if you want to write it down. Let's write it down. That principal diagonal is the diagonal on which the first okay, any doubt? Principal diagonal is that diagonal on which the first and the last elements of the matrix lie. Okay, now the thing is, what are principal diagonal elements? So principal diagonal elements is again very basic. From this you can understand all those elements which lie on this diagonal. So obviously it will be the first element and last element, and all the other which lie on this diagonal means this one also. Okay, so if I write it in generalized terms, then principal diagonal elements are represented like this. These are the elements Aij for which I equal to j. This sign denotes for which. Please write it down, for which. So principal diagonal elements are all those Aij for which I equal to j. You can see that this is A11, A22, A33. So all those elements for which I will be equal to j, those will be known as your principal diagonal elements. For our case, for our example, yes, Lokesh has answered. Principal diagonal elements will be 1, 8 and 2. 1, 8 and 2 are your principal diagonal elements. Any doubt in these terms? And you are please write it down along with me, these types of matrices. Now let's discuss the other term that I was talking about. One term we have already discussed about, the square matrix. Again, the diagonal is defined only for square. Diagonal is not defined for a rectangular matrix, because for a rectangular matrix, let's say you have this matrix. I am drawing some matrix randomly. Okay, so this is a rectangular matrix. If I talk about the diagonal, obviously a square has some diagonal, but in a matrix there is no diagonal for a rectangular matrix, because it is not covering up this or it is not passing through some elements. There is nothing here, so you cannot consider it to be a diagonal. Okay, so diagonal term is defined only for a square matrix, not for a rectangular matrix. Okay, now let's move to the next term. Next term is trace. Do you know what is trace? 7:30 is the timing for break, which may vary depending upon the topic flow of the lecture. Okay, so don't ask please about the break. Now trace. Trace, do you know about anything about it? Very good. Sum of diagonal elements. It is nothing but the sum of principal diagonal elements. Sum of principal diagonal elements, not diagonal elements. Diagonal are two diagonal, but what is trace? Trace is the sum of principal diagonal elements. So this is the, I have written it in abbreviated format, principal diagonal element. So in which sem you are right now? This is sum of principal diagonal element. Can I write this? This is the representation of trace. Can I write this as summation for all I? Are you okay with it? Can I write like this? Trace of A is nothing but summation of all I for I. Means for what? I have told you principal diagonal elements are Aij for all I equal to j. Means I have directly written down A instead of Aij, I have written down Aii, and summation of all Aii means A11 A11 plus A22 plus A33 and so on will give you the trace. So you should be able to understand this language also, because in computer programming we write down in terms of these things only. Okay. So this is trace. So now we have some special some types of square matrix that we will discuss after break. So up till now, any doubt is there, you can ask me, or else we'll take a 15 minutes break. Any doubt? If you have, you can ask me right now. Okay, no doubt then 15 minutes break, which